Jai Vishnupad Pranamahams Pranavrajakcharyas Tadas Vasistavad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Sri Sri Radha Radhanath Ki Sri Giri Govardhan Ki Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Ekadasi Vrata Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Gobremanande. All glories to the Assembled devotees. All glories to the Assembled devotees. All glories to the Assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Right, so devotees and friends, I have been given a topic. It's called Serving Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON. That's what I've been asked to talk about. Srila Prabhupada is what we call our founder Acharya, or Samstapak Acharya. Acharya means like very leading teacher, not just your everyday teacher. Very special teacher, one out of thousands or even more. Acharya, who teaches by example. Acharya. Acha means activity. And Acharya means one who teaches through his or her activities. And founder, we all know what founder means. So Prabhupada brought this tradition from India, first of all to New York, 1965, and then spread it all over the world. And he came here in 1975. And he came to New Zealand, would you believe, in 1972. And I happened, well, while he was there for, I'm not sure really, but a week, maybe some days. While he was there, he came to the university in Auckland, the Auckland University. And I happened to be a student in the Auckland University. And I just happened to just somehow, coincidentally, or by Krishna's arrangement, be right on the spot when Prabhupada came and he did a program in the sort of late morning in the Auckland University, which I was there for. And it really touched my heart. It was quite amazing, actually. And then, it's a bit of a long story, but the following year, on the 7th of January, following year 1973, I actually moved into the temple in London. I went to London. I arrived in London in almost the middle of December, and I started going to the temple, and I moved in as a guest on the 7th of January 1973, and I'm still here as a guest. Here I am. So yeah, I retired. I was 21, so I retired at the age of 21, living the good life. Retirement without pension. So anyway, I'm going to read a verse. It's a real classic. In Bhagavad Gita, you may have noticed there Bhagavad Gita's kind of everywhere. I think I counted, if I remember correctly, 23 on the altar. And that's really very special. means they're going to be like Mahaprasad. Bhagavad Gita is always prasad, sacred remnants coming from the Lord. But now this is special, being right at the lotus feet of the Lord on this last day of our Live to Give international event. So, okay, anyway, I will read a verse regarding serving Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON. ISKCON means the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Shri Radhanath Sri Giri Govardhan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. And would you believe, in 1975, one of our devotees went to Pretoria and registered ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, in Pretoria with whoever they are, the registrar of societies or companies. And he told the man, well, the man had a look at the documentation, and it said, we want to register as International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON. And the man said to our devotee, he was like a real verkrampter, if you know what I mean, hardcore. And he said, you can't be the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. This is South Africa. You got to be the South African Society for Krishna Consciousness, SASCON. Truly. But the devotee said, no, we're all over the world, and so we're ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And the man said, no, South African Society, SASCON. And the devotee put his hand in his little shoulder bag and pulled out a sweet, handmade, we call them Simply Wonderfuls. And they really are. And he pulled it out and gave it to the man. And now the man's, people don't normally do that with him. He's looking at the sweet, doesn't know what to do. And the devotee said, my wife made it for you. Eat it. So the man, he's inspecting it from different sides. And then he just put the whole thing in his mouth in one go. And he chewed on it. And then he said, all right, you can be the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. ISKCON. That's a true story told to me by the devotee who was the one who did it, who was a local South African. Right, so yes, serving Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada as our founder and main teacher and just very outstanding, to put it mildly, teacher, serving Prabhupada in ISKCON. So I will read from Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I'll read chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, verse 34, which, as I mentioned, it's like a real classic verse. Every verse you can say in Bhagavad Gita's real classic. That's true. But this verse is even more classic, the classic amongst the classics. Right, so 434, I think many of you will be familiar with this verse. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshanaha. Translation: just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. And I will read the purport. It's not long, but please tune in and listen carefully. Prabhupada says, the path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. The Lord therefore advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from the Lord himself. No one can be a bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of disciplic succession. The Lord is the original spiritual master, and a person in the disciplic succession can convey the message of the Lord as it is to his disciple. No one can be spiritually realized by manufacturing his own process, as is the fashion of the foolish pretenders. The Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, chapter 3, verse 19 says, Dharnamantu sakshad bhagavat pranitam. The path of religion is directly enunciated by the Lord. Therefore, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot help lead one to the right path, nor by independent study of books of knowledge can one progress in spiritual life. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. Inquiries and submission constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. Unless there's submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master. And when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. Not only should one hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and inquiries. A bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind toward the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries becomes perfect. What a classic verse. It's just so foundational. Let me just read it again. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshanaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachade Chatarne Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. We offer our respects to all the devotees, to all of you, the devotees and friends. So, to learn the truth, and having learned the truth, then put it into effect and live according to the truth, as opposed to just some concocted idea of what one could do or should do or might do, which is generally what goes on amongst the people in general. Yeah, the basic idea amongst the people in general, with all due respect, is just somehow or other enjoy life to the maximum. Get as much money as you can, buy stuff, and just have a good time. Eat, drink, and be merry, because tomorrow, well, one day, tomorrow, you will die, actually. Yes. And maybe it was quite unwise of me, but yesterday or the day before, I actually looked at CNN, confession. And I saw just the headline of one article. You only have one life. That was what caught my attention. So sort of, make the most of it, something like that. You only have one life. And I thought, well, it's CNN. Must be true. Excuse me for being cheeky. So yeah, we got to learn the truth and then live the truth. That's what we got to do. And then we can perfect our lives. Yes. Like if you're studying at university, I'm sure many of you have or are, and you got to study the course, you got to go into it and understand, and then sort of live by it, or pass the exams at least. And then you'll come out successful in the end. So in life, the great school of life, we have to learn the truth and then live by the truth. And then we can perfect our lives and return to the kingdom of God. This is why we've got all these Bhagavad Gitas on display here. Because, well, this verse, of course, comes from Bhagavad Gita. It's one of the classic ones, as I said. But Bhagavad Gita is just full of the truth. Just completely full, totally full of the truth. And I can remember when I moved into the temple in London. It was January the 7th, 1973. Where were you on January the 7th, 1973? I know where I was. In your previous lifetime. Yeah. So I moved in, and because, well, it's a long story, but, I thought this really sounds good. Let's have a look. Let's give it a good try and just see what happens. I was kind of in that sort of mood. Fairly convinced, but not 100%. So after I'd been there for not long, like a week or 10 days, I was given a copy of Bhagavad Gita. And they told me to read it. And they told me a number of things actually about Bhagavad Gita, but one was, and I don't know, it sounds good. It actually sounds very good. I don't know if it's actually authoritative, but it sounds great. They told me, if you read it 27 times, it becomes part of you. Sounds good. Sounds like, may well be true. I mean, yeah, if you read it 27 times, you'll be full of it. So I decided to read it. And I read it. It didn't take long because I was focusing a couple of weeks because we were busy in the temple doing this and doing that, but took some time here and there. And I read the whole thing in a couple of weeks, 2, maybe 3 at the most. And I got to the end. And in the end, or just by the end, last couple of few verses, Krishna says, give up all other things and just surrender to me. And I'll deliver you from all sinful reactions, do not fear. But what really caught me was just surrender to me. Give up everything else, just surrender to me. And having come through it, the book, in a couple of weeks, quite intensively, really focusing on it, I read that, and it was like, yes, that's what I must do. I got to do this. Having read it right through, I was convinced. I was, to a large degree, but not entirely convinced. But now I was completely convinced this is what I must do. Not just should do or like that. I must do. This is just, it has to be done. I have to do it. Right. So, yes, I decided at that point that I would surrender to Krishna and give up everything else and just, I didn't have much to give up because I'd already retired without pension. So, it wasn't like I had a house to give up or a car or, something like that. So, right. And I was in our temple. At that time, it was our only temple in London, right in the center, 7 Berry Place. The building is still there, although we haven't been using it for quite some time, long time. And I was sitting in Prabhupada's room in Berry Place, which was quite a substantial room, probably like 25 square meters or something, fairly substantial room. And at the other end, facing me, was a photo of Prabhupada, which covered the entire wall. Means it was like 5 or 6 meters by, say, 3. It had fairly high ceilings. So yeah, like a 20 square meter photo of Prabhupada. And these photos, you must have seen them, where the person's eyes follow you. You know what I mean? You go over that side, he's still looking at you. You go over there, he's still looking at you. It was like that. And I was looking at this picture of Prabhupada and appreciating Srila Prabhupada, how Prabhupada had entered my life and turned my life sort of upside down in a very nice way, like revolutionized my life. It was really amazing already, even though I was just really a beginner. And I felt so overwhelmed, having concluded Bhagavad Gita and understood that's it. That's it. Not just like, well, that's an interesting idea, I'll think about it. But no, that is it. I must do this, and I'm just going to do it. I'm going to give my life to Krishna and Prabhupada as his representative. And when you're going to do that, what do you do? Well, here in this verse, Krishna explains, you do two things, particularly. One is, in Sanskrit, pariprashnena. If you understand Hindi, I'm sure many of you have some understanding of Hindi, you would know this word prashna. You know this word prashna. It means question, to ask, a question. Yeah, pariprashnena means by questioning. Yeah, so you connect with the spiritual master by asking questions. Pariprashnena sevaya. Seva. You all know that word. Seva means service. And sevaya means by service, by serving. So this is what you do if you want to come closer to Krishna. You have to take shelter of the spiritual master, in our cases particularly Srila Prabhupada, and inquire to clarify things, get your understanding straight and clear, and then render service. That's what you do. And then your connection with the spiritual master and via the spiritual master with Krishna becomes established and then develops more and more and more until you finally, one morning you wake up and you're no longer in chats, Unit 5 or wherever. You are in Goloka Vrindavan. And it's called, Prabhupada in the purport, a few times he uses the term, I can see at least 3 times, disciplic succession. The Sanskrit term is not mentioned in this particular verse, but earlier in the chapter, verse 2, the Sanskrit term for disciplic succession, a line of disciples, who the disciple becomes the teacher, and his disciple becomes the teacher, and his disciple becomes the teacher. And it goes like that. The Sanskrit term is parampara. Now you might not, it's also a Hindi word, more or less. You might not be so familiar with it. It means, literally it means from one to the other. Parampara, this is what it means. But here we're talking about a very deep type of connection from one to the other. In fact, it means really, at least the implication when it's applied in Krishna consciousness and spiritual life, the implication is from one heart to another heart, and then on to another heart. This is parampara, because Krishna consciousness, the spiritual master is teacher, and I'm even sort of acting as a teacher right now. But it's not just like teaching when we all went to school and we learned all the usual things, ABC and so on like that. It's not just some academic process, although, we do study and we try to learn. And sometimes in our different seminars and courses, we get devotees to memorize verses like this one here, 434. But actually, that side of it is just to facilitate the relationship on the level of the heart. Yes. So that moment when I was sitting in front of the photo of Srila Prabhupada, who was just looking at me really pointedly, the photo had been taken in the same room when he had been sitting in the same place. Yeah. So it was very real. But I felt the connection from heart to heart, even just, it's just a matter of weeks, just a very short time. I felt it so strongly, and I felt so grateful and appreciative of what it was doing for me, what it had already done, but what it was going to do for me through my life, that I cried. Can you believe it? I cried. It was just so overwhelming. Finish Bhagavad Gita as just so totally convincing. Look up, there's Prabhupada looking at me. So that's what happened, everyone. So, and then we try to serve, do some service, whatever. Whatever we're asked to do, really, ideally, we shouldn't be too choosy that, I'll do this, I'll only do this sort of service, but not that sort of service. We should just be ready. There's a saying, when an authority in Krishna consciousness asks you to do a service, it means Krishna wants you to do the service. Yeah, how's that? So in other words, we should just be ready to say, yes, yes, sir, and not, why me, or can't you find someone else, or whatever. So there you go, devotees. These are some thoughts on the subject of serving Srila Prabhupada in his ISKCON. And I extremely strongly recommend to all of you, you're all nice people, you've all taken the trouble to come here. You could have been watching TV. Anyone know what's on TV right now at, 12:20 on a Sunday? You don't know? Congratulations. That's very good. Okay, so there you go. So please get into it. You've been hearing about these things. You can take a Bhagavad Gita if you don't have one. And if you've got one, you can take another one. Give it to your neighbor or a relative or a friend. But try and get into it. Try and get into it, because it'll just revolutionize your life just incredibly and wonderfully. Just revolutionize. Yeah, it's amazing. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I hand over to Smita Krishna Prabhu and company.
Hare Krishna. Swami Maharaj ki jai. Maharaj was quoting the verse 434, so Maharaj, referring to his service to Srila Prabhupada, related to that verse, but we also know and acknowledge Maharaj is a bona fide spiritual master who has been our guide for many, many, many years in ISKCON, and we deeply appreciate his role in our lives. So before I call Lalita Gopal to speak to us, these Bhagavad Gitas that are on the table, and particularly those in the altar that Maharaj mentioned, they are Mahaprasad. So what we're going to do is give you the opportunity on this last day of the Live to Give campaign to take a Bhagavad Gita or more, and Maharaj will autograph them and give them to you. So remember, the donation is 100 Rand, and this book, you have to be convinced, and we have seen also by experience, that this book will change the face of this planet. This book will change the consciousness of this planet. And Srila Prabhupada has already been doing that, and that verification we see is continuing. So you become part of the process to help Srila Prabhupada and his disciples who are instructing us to spread this message of Bhagavad Gita worldwide. Krishna says he is pleased with those who spread his message, and therefore if you distribute the Bhagavad Gita, certainly he will be pleased with you. So please assist with this worldwide. Our goal is 3.7 million Bhagavad Gitas worldwide, and we have the opportunity to take part in magnanimous service. So as Maharaj said, if you have one, take another. You will always find an opportunity to give it to somebody as a gift to someone. Alright, so we're hoping that you will do that. And please come forward. Mataji serves very, very efficiently and excellently in our new Jagannath temple. We're happy to have you here.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev, and all you wonderful devotees. Today marks a very special occasion, as it is His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj's 51st anniversary of joining the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Hari Hari Bol. 7th January 1973, a beacon of light emerged, and his light would shine and serve many wandering souls far and wide in various parts of the world. From Maharaj's first encounter with Srila Prabhupada in 1972 as a young gentleman into his gracefully matured age, Maharaj displays unwavering faith and surrender to Krishna consciousness. Being often referred to as a Prabhupada man is a title best suited for him. Maharaj is the epitome of an ideal disciple, carrying his love for his spiritual master, his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, in his heart, and firmly following his instructions. Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj continues to move forward, executing his duties and responsibilities perfectly. Over these past 51 years, Maharaj has served in various positions. After receiving his first initiation in July of 1973 by Srila Prabhupada, he served as a temple commander in the Berry Place Temple. A few years later, he moved to London's Bhaktivedanta Manor to, among many other engagements, serve as treasurer, book distribution, and Bhaktivedanta Book Trust assistant. Maharaj then traveled in 1980 to South Africa to assist in the mission of establishing a society of devotees here. And it is evident that Maharaj is the solid concrete that holds the foundation of ISKCON South Africa. He is the governing body commissioner of South Africa and serves in the Bhaktivedanta College of Education and Culture as the chairman of the board of examiners. After being awarded the renounced order of sannyas in 1994, Maharaj has traveled globally preaching Krishna conscious philosophy. Maharaj's extensive travel program stretched between the northern and southern hemisphere. During the COVID-19 lockdown, when travel restrictions were imposed, Maharaj continued in his unwavering determination in spreading Lord Chaitanya's mission and started his online japa sessions. Discourse. Shri Shri Radharanath Ki Jai. Started his online japa sessions, discourse, and seminars, including the Bhakti Shastri course and more recent, the Bhakti Vaibhava course. The Bhakti Shastri course in 2021 was noted to be the most successful online program with a record-breaking 600 attendees and most number of successful graduates. Post-COVID, Maharaj has recently started to travel again and will be going to places such as Botswana, Kazakhstan, United States of America, and Doha being the recent addition. Despite having a few health issues, Maharaj's unflinching dedication to expand Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON is awe-inspiring. Maharaj's love, reverence, and the need to please his Lord and Master Srila Prabhupada is deep-seated in his heart. Maharaj, we would like to thank you for all your hard work and sacrifices made over the past 51 years. We love, honor, and appreciate you immensely. We pray to our dear Lordships to bless you with good health and strength so that you may continue in your life's mission and continue to be our most needed guiding light. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj ki.
Thank you so much, Prabhupada. Just such an eloquent speaker. I remember coordinating the Vyasa Puja so well. So, we want to now honor Maharaj. It is Ekadasi today. So, we have a special Ekadasi cake made for Maharaj. Hello. You can come in now. Hare Krishna!
Do I have to eat the whole thing?
Please bring a knife and a plate. So we are also going to be handing out some sweets to you. Thank you, Shuri. Bring that forward.
Should I cut it or what should I?
Yes, Raj. Please cut the cake. Let's have a nice.
Collapsible.
Hare Krishna. So let's give another round of applause. We had some intention to cancel distribute this cake, but it's really collapsible. And I think you'll get the devotees to do this at the back when you're going out or downstairs at the starting table. But now is the time to have this Bhagavad Gita distributed. The art is going on. But let's do it. We'll have some kirtan much and then, because we can't get them much also right now. We have to wait a little for the art to be over. And then we'll distribute these Bhagavad Gitas. Already I have somebody sent me a message. Anjali Banji from ISKCON. She He says, please give 5 for me. So that's done. And while we were doing this, I was on WhatsApp. Sorry, but in that WhatsApp, I distributed 7 Bhagavad Gita's while we were sitting here. So that's the dedication to life. So you can see that it's not so difficult, and we want you to start taking these Bhagavad Gita. So let's see by show of hands how many are going to take one on the altar today. Hands up. Haribo! Haribo! Madhurali Mataji has said I must give the 2 Bhagavad Gitas to the guests who come today. So we have a gift from one of our devotees. So please you come forward and take them. We could do these in the meantime from here and then from the altar. So how many of you want to come forward and let's see, come forward. Make sure we need the pen and the assistants to unwrap the Bhagavad Gitas. Please take the away. Okay, so pretty sure that you have a team to do this. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Hare Krishna devotees. So we will start our Bhagavad Gita campaign. Today is our very last day, and the Shri Radharani Temple has a goal of 1,808 Bhagavad Gitas to distribute for this birthday campaign. And we currently are 1,400, so we really need your help. It's our last day. So today we're going to have His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj sign your copy as well as give you a seat after. So we can start making the line. We will have to wait for the RT to finish to get the Maha Bhagavad Gitas, but we can give them to you after the RT. So you're welcome to start lining up, and we can facilitate your purchase of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful, wonderful. Out of the mouth of babes, child is the father of man. Haribo! Haribo! Okay, so devotees are coming forward. Please, you can take the line here now. I think they're waiting for the rest of the altar. But it's okay. I will start the line. Maharaj also suggests you come forward, we'll note your names, and if you're going to one waiting for those of the altar, then we'll interview them. So please come forward. We just a little bit, we don't consider the logistics there with the army going on at the moment. Oh, and don't worry, we have a card machine as well. You can have some pizza and the pizza is available. Swami